Hey, Brett here. So I'm going to do side splits. I've already got myself warmed up. I've spent about the last 15 minutes doing Qigong shaking and humming to loosen up, specifically my deep front line. I'm going to show you how I did that because I didn't record it, because 15 minutes of me shaking and humming is kind of boring. But I'm going to do the following with my feet. I'm going to externally rotate them, maybe even make them a little wider. And then I'm going to bounce like this, because what that's going to do is going to target here, which is when I'm doing the side splits, that's where I'm hitting. This also will hit the hamstrings, but I can just straight feet for the hamstrings. I sometimes go pigeon-toed because I get some tightness in my calf, and when I start to notice that, that's because your collagen is in multiple layers and it loosens at different rates. And so if I start to get a bit of a stitch, rotate, shake. If I want to get the front line in my chest, I do this. If I want to get my shoulders, I'll do this. But I've already done it. I'm loose. I can tell for a couple of reasons. I can keep a standing wave with very little action from my feet. But also, I've got heat coming off here and here and here and even into my forehead. That's Thixotropic release. That's your collagen going from a gel or solid state into a sol or liquid state. And more importantly, it increases the signaling efficiency of your body. But by reliquefying your collagen, it makes it less anaerobic over time, which is definitely anti-cancer for some kinds of cancer. Now I'm doing side splits in a place I haven't done it for a while, this floor. I normally do it on a pad, so I've got several props. This is gonna limit my downward motion. Last time I started, this is where I started. I'm gonna use this for my heels. I've got 2 for each side. And then I'm gonna use this yoga chair with these handles to give myself support so I don't go down too quickly. Okay, so that's the setup. No idea how this is gonna go, but I suspect it's gonna go fine. I'm not as loose as I often am, but we shall see. Now these pillows are gonna slide. So I'm gonna put my heels up, I'm gonna slide, and I can already tell I'm a little bit tight on my thighs, because I emphasize the deep front line, but not the back line. But let's see where I start. So here we go. I could go a little bit further, but I'm going to go here because I don't want to shock the body. So I'm just going to hold this for a bit and let my muscles calm down. In fact, what I could do is do something like this. So now I can rest here for a while. And also, by resting a little bit forward, I'm pushing my legs slightly back, which is going to change the target of the stretch. Now I'm going to hum. Humming does a couple things. It's going to help relax things, but also it increases the signal propagation, and so my body is going to be able to take a better sample of what's going on. It also stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, and since I'm doing a stretch which is biologically dangerous, I'm opening up my groin. The nervous system doesn't want that. That's the reproductive system. I'm saying, no, it's okay, dude. We're good. So I'm actually communicating with my autonomic system right now by humming. Let's talk about the principles of science of stretching while I'm at it. So 3 basic principles. Wet noodle. Most of my body is relaxed. I'm trying to use props or whatever so that I'm relaxing and letting the muscles just take pressure. Passive resistance, or passive constraints over time, basically. So breathe to relax, 4A. Now, instead of breathing to relax, totally great, I'm using humming. Humming does vocal, or rather exhale extension, and the vibrations also are sending messages to the parasympathetic system. So in fact, humming is a double whammy in terms of calming you down. Right now, I'm feeling this really in my hip sockets. Doesn't hurt, but I'm feeling it. And if I just sit here for a while and relax, I'm gonna go looser and looser. I have not done side splits now for a little over a week for reasons, but I suspect that I will be back to that pillow that I set down at the beginning. Hey, Chesh. And now I have my kitty joining me. Hello. What's up, buddy? Now, it probably doesn't look like I'm doing much right here. I assure you, I'm doing much. But I'm doing much slowly. I think a good analogy is, I think it was the bridge over Navarro, where they need to destroy a bridge, and so they decide to bomb a dam. And the guys who volunteer to bomb the dam, they set off the explosion, and the dam doesn't go down. And they go back and they want to basically punish the person who gave them the bomb. But what they find out was the bomb was just the thing to loosen the stability, and then pressure over time will do the rest. Exact same thing here. Right now, I've just got my weight resting, and I can tell you that I'm definitely opening up my hips. My hips are like slightly discomforting or discomforted. And by being calm, things are going to relax. And in fact, I think I'm almost on this pillow. If I had shook for maybe another 10 minutes, I would have started on the pillow, but that's fine. What's up, buddy? I've got my torso on this, so I'm not actually moving my hips at all when I'm doing this. Being able to isolate the part of your body that you're stretching is important. And I would not suggest you start on splits to learn how to do that. Okay, now the difference here also is when I normally do this with this pillow and these, I don't use the pillows on my feet. I use a futon mattress. So I'm actually deeper. Wow. Right now my psoas on the right is going blah, and my glasses are coming off. Can come back a little bit onto the pillow. The pillow's a little bit forward, so. There we go. There we go. I'm on the pillow. I'll move this for a second so you can see. Look out, buddy. I'm going to move this. Yeah. Come on, Josh. There you go. Good boy. Okay, now, dude, I'm stretching. No. Back off, please, buddy. Dude, get away. Thank you. I don't mind him normally around some of my stretches, but side splits, I'm very exposed here. I'm fine right here. This is completely comfortable. I can sit here for a while. And by doing that, I'm normalizing this as a place. So this is great. My feet are probably about 170 degrees, so it's not completely out. But you know what? I'm feeling a good stretch here. And if I just sit here comfortably, I'm normalizing this as regular. But I can also lean forward and add a little bit of additional pressure without too much. And here's the thing. If you go too far, so long as you go really, really slowly, rather than experiencing pain, you will experience nociception. Nociception. What is nociception? That's the signal that you're about to do damage. Not that you're doing damage, you're about to do damage. So you've got baseline, things are calm. You've got levels of discomfort, nociception, damage. If you go too far, and then very slowly you find you've gone too far, you come back just a touch. Like right there, I came back maybe, let's say, a quarter inch. That takes the pressure off. And what that tells the body is, hey, this person, you were able to receive a signal of too far without freaking out, because typically what happens is you receive that signal, you overreact and actually do damage because of the signal. And the body's response is you did less damage than you would have done had you kept going. But you can also trick your body by saying, well, okay, thank you, I'll come back a touch. Because when that happens, you also typically get a vagal surge. You might even get autonomic coactivation, which means you can take advantage of the way the body works by going just a touch too far, very slowly, and then coming back. Now, this isn't too far for me. Nah, it's a little too far. I would like about a 1-inch pillow under my elbow. So I'm going to come back just a touch and then just stay here for a while. So I'm going to go through the 3 rules, the base rules and 2 additional rules. So again, breathe to relax. In my case, since I'm talking, I'm not taking too many breaths a minute, but 4-8, 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out will tend to balance and then actually calm you down. That's parasympathetic dominant. 5 breaths a minute, 6 in, 6 out, tends to be parasympathetic dominant for most people because most people are in the sympathetic system, but it's actually balancing or homeostatic. If you're taller, like if you're above 6'2", it's more like 3.8 breaths a minute. And that's because you have more lung tissue. There we go. See, now this is comfortable. Patience has its virtues. So breathe to relax. Passive tension over time, 2 to 5 minutes typically. For side splits, I tend to do a little longer. I'm limited in time today, so I might only do like 10 minutes, but I often do longer than that. And wet noodle. That is, most of my body is either relaxed or, in this case, I'm locked out to protect myself. But I don't want to be using my muscles if I can. That's why I heavily use props for adjustments. The other thing is you got to work from where you are. Even though last time I started right on this pillow, I wasn't as warm, and so I had to warm up to it. So start from where you are. If you're injured, don't do things. I will not do a side splits again for about 3 days because I'm going to definitely deform my collagen, and it will take about 2 to 4 hours for base stability, but then the collagen will start to get laid down over the next 24 hours. And then for it to reform nicely, I want to give it about 72 hours. So here it is Tuesday at lunch, so maybe Friday, but I doubt I'll do it Friday. We'll see. That includes front splits in this case because there's some similar muscles here. They're not the same, but I'm stretching my hips in such a way that I would also stretch my hips for side splits. Whoa, right there. That's going a little too far, but maybe I can handle it. You got to work from where you are, not where you want to be. Okay, that's way too far right there. Went too far. So I'm going to come back up here. Now, I could add in some proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, PNF, squeeze and hold. Humming does that, actually. So right now, actually, I've come forward. My legs are a little bit wider than when I came back up, and so I've got some good pressure right here and right here. So if I got a little bit of pressure and then I do some humming, there we go. So I've still got some good stretch going on. Mostly I'm feeling it here, more in what would be called the quad for Tai Chi. Stretching your quad is really good. Allows you to open up your hips, makes it easier to get off the floor, makes it easier to get out of your car. At least me, because I have to park the car close to a wall. Now after this, I'll be doing gentle walking. I'm going to actually sit on a recumbent bike and keep my legs moving. That's because that's how I sit for work. Totally fine because I'm doing no resistance, but I'm not going to go jogging. I'm not going to do anything that would do any kind of stressful stuff with my hips after doing a stretch like this. I've only been going for, I can't actually read the time, and I don't know how long I've been going, probably 5 minutes at most, but I've got a hard limit because I've got a meeting coming up. So I know I can't go for more than like 10 minutes. But what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to have lunch. So I'm going to go get some pizza, believe it or not. I just cooked a pizza. It's cooling off, and I'm going to sit and eat it. And by immediately turning around and moving my body, my legs, my skeletal muscles, the carbs in the pizza, which I have good fat it's good macro balance, are going to go into my skeletal muscles rather than spiking my insulin. Let me check something. Alexa, what time is it? All right, I'm going to come out now. So I'm going to come out slowly. Alexa, cancel alarm. And I'm going to sit here for a second. And then I'm going to move my body, my torso, so my legs pull in a little bit. I don't want to use my leg muscles at all. And in fact, right now, I'm not sure I could, but since I'm on a slidey pad, I can just do this to slowly, in fact, I'm going to do this since I'm on the couch. I'm using nothing on my legs. My legs are coming along for the ride at the moment. And now they're fine. Once I get them back into a neutral position, like so, they're completely fine. Got a little bit of a twinge tinge there, but so that's a quick side splits. It wasn't as much as I wanted because I futz around a bit. I could have given myself a little more time, but I can assure you I've made a little bit of change in my hips today. So quick summary, breathe to relax, 4-8. Wet noodle, keep the muscles that are stretching loose. Passive tension over time, 2 to 5 minutes typically, will start to do structural change. The problem with the 2 to 5 minutes is, or rather not the problem, but the issue is about half that time or more typically is calming down your nervous system. If you do shaking beforehand, you circumvent that. So if I had started this stretch without shaking, I probably would have started here. But instead I started about here and I got to, about here. So I find that the time spent shaking way overpays for itself in terms of the actual deep flexibility experience. And when you do deep flexibility, 2 to 5 minutes as opposed to just regular stretching, you're changing your collagen, and over time you're hydrating your collagen, which is going to help prevent certain kinds of cancer. So you're lowering your nervous system floor, you're lowering your inflammation, your A1C. Over time, you're allowing your astrocytic cells to shift from an A1 to an A2 phenotype expression. And so you're doing a whole bunch of good stuff. As you age, collagen misalignment is one of the biggest side effects of aging. Deep flexibility addresses that. It doesn't in my experience, it seems to completely resolve it, but I can't say that legitimately. But for me, I've gone from where I could barely, when I started doing side splits this time, I think I was about here on my legs and I couldn't get anywhere near on my butt. So shaking is a big thing, but training your nervous system as well. All right, have a good one. Whew, definitely side sore.